Valve core removal tool for an HVAC system, say hypothetically a split unit or whatever type of unit you're working on, is one can see here, this one could connect the gauges up here and see the valve, the Schrader valve in here. But on this end, there's a Schrader valve as well on this end, which holds the refrigerant in. It acts like a dam and holds the refrigerant into the system. If it begins to leak, the system may not operate to optimum pressure. So this little rod here slides up, and one can turn it, I think clockwise to tighten the Schrader valve or counterclockwise to loosen the Schrader valve. So if one were doing the line set, sweating the line set, the Schrader valves may, I'm not sure if they have a little rubber piece on them or not, but it would be good to take that out because you don't want to melt that in there, because it's not going to be good if it's melted in there. But what one can do is slide this rod up here, make sure the end of the rod is connected onto the Schrader valve, and then I think remove this counterclockwise, turn this counterclockwise, and then pull this out. When this is pulled out, then at this point one would take this cutoff and cut it off. This blocks the refrigerant from coming back through here. At this point, one can take this little knob here and unscrew it counterclockwise. And once unscrewed counterclockwise, the valve core should be, the Schrader valve should be on, fastened onto this to this little rod here. So basically now, in order to reinstall it, so one would, and again, this side, the Schrader valve would be connected. If you had a hose or something, a gauge connected, it would have to be depressed down. Otherwise, it wouldn't leak unless this Schrader valve was bad. But then at this point, if you wanted to reinsert the and put a new one in on the end of this rod here, you would put a new Schrader valve here and push this up into here, tighten this up first, this brass fitting here, nut, whatever on this threaded thing, and then slide this up in here very gingerly, the rod with your fingers, slide it all the way up in here till you feel it seat, and it'll come to this end. Once it's seated on this end, begin to slowly turn it clockwise and don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, you could do damage and may have to reinstall another Schrader valve. So just get it tight where it doesn't leak, but just a smidgen above tightness where it doesn't leak. So once this is in, then at this point, one could actually close this valve off and then unscrew this and slowly unscrew this, because if you have any refrigerant leak, and bubble test your system or however you test it, just to make sure that the refrigerant doesn't come out, because if the refrigerant comes out and your whole system leaks down, it's going to be a snafu situation. It would be, number one, it would be expensive. Refrigerant is expensive. Number two, it may not be just good in general, but notwithstanding. So just again, recap how we do this. We put this up here, tighten this down, slide the stem from here, make sure it connects onto the bottom of the valve stem. Slowly and gingerly counterclockwise this with your finger. The valve stem should be on this side. Begin to pull this out. Once this is pulled out, close your valve course removal tool. Then undo this, and once this is undone, then take the valve, put the new valve stem on, put it in. Once it's done, then at that point, open this up and unscrew this nut. Once this nut is unscrewed, but do it very gingerly, because if it has a leak, at least you can catch it, screw it back on, and cut it back off, and maybe put another one in. So, and at this point, then bubble test your system to make sure it's not leaking. And hence, once it, if everything's tight and you've got a new Schrader valve, over a period of time, these Schrader valves get they get a little bit, I guess, like anything else, just simply old, and then they're susceptible to having a leak. And see, one can see the little valve inside of here, and this is essentially, I think, what you would be taking out on this side here. So this is a valve core removal tool, great little tool for heating and air conditioning. And then also, if you're recovering refrigerant or pulling a vacuum, it may pull faster without the valve stem in there. So anyway, valve core removal tool for heating and air, good little tool to save you time, effort, money, etc. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.